Like any child in the city of Nanjing, I first heard of the prestigious name of Nanjing Foreign Language School, or Nanwai as a simple but indelible abbreviation. Far before I entered the school, or even far before I entered primary school or elementary school. You know that Chinese people value education a great deal, so selecting a good school for their child is a priority for the parents. So I am very lucky because my parents think very highly of education, so they sent me into a very good elementary school, and I had a chance to come here. But during my years in primary school, I hardly had any concrete ideas about what Nanhua was like. It was just a prestigious name, but it was kind of abstract. In the first months in Nanhua, I developed an ambivalent sense of this very school, because on the one hand, when I was on the bus in my uniform, this uniform, someone would nod in praise. Oh, you're from Nanhua, that is really good for you. But on the other hand, I began to discover that what I previously thought or imagined about this beautiful school was not that true, was a little bit stereotypical. Because everyone said that, oh, it was the best school in our city. It was even one of the best in our country. But that was just empathy. That was not something that is really concrete, that really makes a lot of sense. For example, when I was in the first year here, I suddenly found that the paradise I draw in my mind, stroke by stroke, started to fall apart somehow, day by day. Because, the lunch was not that tasty, the library was not that voluminous, the lecture hall was not that modern, the surroundings was not that quiet, and there was even a sense of disappointment that assailed me. In retrospect, I think now I know better because I was struck with a mixed feeling of adolescent cynicism and discrepancy between my delusion and reality. But Nanhua is called Nanhua for a reason. If Nanhua were just nothing more than shining fame, it would have lost its attractiveness and glamour long before. No doubt a school of 6 years' history possesses some distinctive charm that would revitalize itself every day, so as to maintain its youth's proud livery, as I quote Shakespeare. In the first art festival I attended, which happened to be the 55th ever since the foundation of Nanhua, I had my first experience of joy as I directed the play Hamlet, which marked my embrace of this school. I was first introduced to Shakespeare when I first disillusionized Nanhua. In such a competitive atmosphere, it would be unimaginable for teachers to give students a great deal of free time to spare in the library, but it was not the case in our Chinese lessons. We had a number of Chinese classes spent in that not-so-large library, which turned out to be the perfect place for quiet reading. In the first of such classes, I grasped a copy of Hamlet translated in Chinese, out of pure coincidence. I skimmed, and then scanned, and then read, and then perused, and then finally devoured the content of that book, and I enjoyed it very much. And I did have some deep understanding to the antithesis of life and death described in that drama. And I had some very crazy ideas in my mind, so I talked to the teacher that I like to bring this drama onto the stage in the art festival. That was a really crazy, weird idea for a 7th grader, because it was just unimaginable for such a young student to have such a picture in his mind. But my teacher encouraged me, and so we started our work from scratch. Therefore, we edited the lines, we solidified the characters, and we even made the swords for the final scene. And it was not, in retrospect, it is not a very mature play. It was too brainish, but yeah, it was considerably successful at that time. And I enjoyed my experience very much. And more significant for me myself, a seed was planted in my mind, which 3 years later now would grow and bloom into a flower that is my love for the English literature. I'm going to take the SAT 2 for literature. in September, which is a fairly difficult test even for the American students. But I believe
Good luck.
Thank you very much. As I finished my first year in Nanhua, I realized a huge mistake in my assumption, which is quite prevalent among students and teachers in some other schools, both in our country and in some other countries, which is the learning is just for the sake of examination. Having been exposed in an environment in which education is not exam-oriented, I eventually spotted the root of my moderate anxiety about study and eradicated it. After such a re-realization, I found myself beginning to learn for leisure. And it seems like a paradox for me, because as I didn't see the examination score as the sole measure of my academic success, I scored much higher than before and got first place in the second year's final examination among all the students in my grade. And I got to the first place in the municipal high school entrance examination in our school among all the boys, which earned me a chance to go to St. Louis University High School with full scholarship. With relatively little homework given by the teacher in Nanhua, I enjoyed the freedom of reading magazines such as The New Yorker or The Economist. And my English witnessed a great progress from that. By the way, though I didn't think I did it very well this May in the SAT, I got 2270 out of 2400, which was just like 35 or 34 in the ACT. And I did it in my sophomore year. So thank you very much for Nanhua. I appreciate it. As I walk into Nanhua, and as you walk into Nanhua, prepare to be taken aback by the empty classrooms in junior and senior years. Because all these students, having successfully completed their studies and passed the provincial academic level test, are now volunteering in rural areas, teaching children English for free, of course, or visiting senior citizens' homes to offer helps, or working in museums introducing Renaissance arts to their audience, or traversing European countries to open their mind, or preparing for the college admission just by themselves, or simply learning extra stuff for fun, whether it is Spanish or psychology or drawing or even football play. When their peers in some other schools are struggling with the college entrance examination, my classmates are spending their time purely for pressure, for learning pressure. For more information, you can ask them, because they are all very successful graduates. Another thing I appreciate about Nanhua is that it encourages discussion of any kind. As you remember, once I was asked to correct my answer in an assignment that requires to give pronunciations of some Chinese words. I looked up in my dictionary for certain words, but it turned out that this answer was being incorrect. I was a stubborn boy, so when I was asked to correct my answer, I just wrote, "I won't correct it," as large as possible on my exercise book. To my astonishment, my teacher was not furious about my apparent disrespect. Rather, as she was a paleography major, she talked at length about the differences between ancient pronunciation and modern pronunciation, which really aroused my interest in historical linguistics. And I did some independent research into it, and I even gave a speech on English etymology in my second year in Nanjing Students, which was quite successful. And I was really proud of myself because of that. During my 4 years in Nanhua, I eventually observed this subtle difference that sets Nanhua apart from its peers. The facilities of Nanhua might be emulated in the future, though I hope not, with the slight improvements gradually taking place. But the spirit of Nanhua, the spirit of freedom and idealism, shall grow like rosemary, emulating its light but everlasting state. So let's come back to the very first topic. Was entering Nanhua a pure phase? Yes. Was my experience of Nanhua merely illusions back in my days in elementary school? Maybe, yeah. Was I disappointed by the reality of Nanhua? No, not at all. Do I love Nanhua? definitely. For me to attend a school that is on the land of my city, but offers first-rate education, equips excellent teachers who truly care about students, includes students of all kinds of talents, creates a leisurely atmosphere of learning, invites the students to great challenges, and most importantly, connects me to the entire world. It is wonderful. Thank you very much.